I've stated it numerous times now, but deaths in horror movies are expected and often wanted depending on what subgenre you're watching. However, some horror movie deaths are incredibly violent, graphic, and just downright terrifying. These are the top 5 worst horror movie death scenes, part 8. Let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, House of Wax, Pole. The movie we all love to hate. House of Wax is nothing to write home about, but it's certainly a movie we all love to watch and make fun of. There was a period of time I just loved to watch it because I thought it was good. When I was younger, I literally wrote out the entire screenplay to House of Wax in a book. I don't know what. I was going through a thing. I was going through a phase. Surprisingly, it actually has a few genuine scares and chilling moments. Released in 2005 and directed by Jaume Collet-Serra, House of Wax is a slasher starring the likes of Alicia Cuthbert, Chad Michael Murray, Paris Hilton, and Jared Padalecki, with it being a loose remake of the 1953 movie of the same name. The movie itself follows Carly, her brother Nick, and a group of their friends who are on a road trip heading to Louisiana for a football game. However, after their truck breaks down, they quickly realize they won't be making it to the game. A stranger in a truck offers a couple of them a ride to a nearby town in order for them to repair their vehicle, but once there they realize the town is not what it seems. It's made entirely out of wax, with the residents also being made out of wax. However, it gets much darker. The residents were once living. Now the group are forced to fight for their lives when the man who helped them attempts to kill them, chasing them around the town in an attempt to also turn them into wax. Paige, played by Paris Hilton, is one of those people. She is chased around a building, hiding behind a car. However, when she pops her head up to see where the killer is, she gets a pole right through the head. It is a lot of a lot. It's a very abrupt and shocking death, and one that will definitely linger with you. It's Paris Hilton's finest work. Before we jump into number 4, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. Coming in at number 4, we have Wrong Turn 3, Pole. So many poles on this list. I mean, this is arguably one of the worst films ever made. Hold me to that, please. But this death is horrific and definitely not the most ideal way to go out. Released in 2009 and directed by Declan O'Brien, Wrong Turn 3 Left for Dead is the 3rd installment in the Wrong Turn series and stars the likes of Tom Frederick, Janet Montgomery, Hill Colleran, and Charlie Speed, with it following a group of friends who go on a hiking trip. However, they soon find themselves trapped in the woods along with convicts from a nearby prison, as they are all forced to fight for survival against cannibals who live in the woods. Now, unlike Wrong Turn and Wrong Turn 2, this movie had 0 likable characters, meaning stakes were low. In the first movie, there seemed to be a sense of real peril. However, Wrong Turn 3 opted for gross out and a lack of care for those meeting a grisly end. Not to mention the movie is so low budget that it takes you back to the feeling of old Hollywood movies, just not in a good way. There's no nostalgia there, just dread. Yeah, I'm talking about a car driving in front of a backdrop with the crew rocking it back and forth to make it seem as though it is in motion, when in fact it is not. Now, there are a few grisly deaths in this movie, but the one that stands out to me involves yet another pole. Without ruining this masterpiece for folks, one of the characters gets a pole shoved down their throat in a truly disgusting scene that will linger with you long after the movie ends. Honestly, it might be the only takeaway from this movie. Coming in at number 3, we have Final Destination 2, Log Scene. At this point, we're all aware of how insane and disturbing the Final Destination deaths are, and we're not even close to running out of them. There are an endless amount, and I'm not entirely sure they've stopped making the films. I'm not sure, to be honest. Released in 2003 and directed by David R. Ellis, Final Destination 2 stars the likes of Ali Larter, AJ Cook, and Michael Landis, with it following the same formula as the first Final Destination movie. A character has a premonition about a catastrophic event that ultimately comes true. However, they manage to rescue a handful of individuals before it happens. Once they do that, it kickstarts a chain reaction, with the survivors being picked off by death in the order they would have died in the accident. Unless, of course, they manage to cheat death, in which case it jumps to the next person. Now, as we know, all of the deaths in the Final Destination franchise are completely absurd, with one event triggering another and it resulting in people dying. In this case, a group of friends are driving down a highway. We catch glimpses of fellow drivers on the road, including a cop who is driving behind a truck carrying a pile of logs. The cop spills his coffee, the chain on the logs breaks, and the logs go hurtling towards the cop and through his windshield, killing him instantly. This results in a chain reaction. A motorcyclist crashes into the log with his own bike impaling him. A car flips and is taken out by a larger truck, and the group of friends crash into one of the logs. The moment that stood out to me, though, is when the woman in a car with her son attempts to steer out of the way, but a water bottle drops and rolls under her brake, resulting in her crashing. Sad times. This is definitely a standout moment in the Final Destination franchise. Coming in at number 2, we have Jigsaw, Laser Collar. Despite the fact that I absolutely hated Jigsaw, the Laser Collar was certainly memorable and marked one of the greatest kills in the Saw franchise. Released in 2017 and directed by the Spierig brothers, Jigsaw is the 8th installment in the Saw series, and stars the likes of Matt Passmore, Callum Keith Rennie, Laura Vandervoort, and Tobin Bell, with the plot following a group of people who find themselves in the middle of a jigsaw trap, with them being forced to participate in a series of deadly games inside of a barn. While this is all going on, the police are investigating the murders that oddly resemble the Jigsaw killer who died over a decade ago. Now, without revealing the major twist of this, considering this death is the final one to occur in the film, I'll skirt around the major plot points, just in case some of you actually want to check this film out afterwards, which you shouldn't because it was bad. But this death was a lot of fun. Now, right at the end of the movie, one of the characters, Detective Halloran, finds himself trapped in a laser collar contraption. The collar is activated and the laser begins to move downwards in unison, getting closer and closer to his head. They end up swiping right through his head, and for a brief moment of pause, nothing happens until the detective drops to his knees and his head slices open like apple slices. It is truly disturbing and one of the most memorable kills in the Saw franchise. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have Midsommar, Cliff Jump. Now, Midsommar is a movie that seems to have a lot of people torn, and is the case with both Ari Aster movies, Hereditary as well. People seem to love Ari's films or hate them. Personally, I adore them, and I think they have revamped the horror genre for the better. Released in 2019, Midsommar stars the likes of Florence Pugh, Jack Rayner, William Jackson Harper, and Will Poulter, with the movie following Danny, a college student mourning the devastating loss of her family. To attempt to cope with her grief, she heads to Sweden with her boyfriend and a group of friends for a festival that occurs once every 90 years. However, all is not as it seems in the strange town, with the festival being hosted by a pagan cult that requires blood sacrifice during each celebration. The experience begins quite joyful, as you would expect. However, there is an ominous feeling throughout, and you know something just isn't quite right with this festival. Danny can sense something is off, yet the cult and its people seem to have cast a spell upon her friends, who begin to fall for their tricks. It soon becomes a realization that the group of friends may very well be blood sacrifices needed to complete the ritual. Now, in one particular scene in the movie, we are met with 2 haunting deaths that have scarred most who have seen this movie. 2 elders from the cult leap off a cliff and to their death. While one does successfully, the other survives the fall and is ultimately killed by fellow cult members in a truly disturbing and grisly moment. Honestly, there are many moments in this movie that had me in utter disbelief. This one just came out on top, with the bear suit being a close second. If you know, you know. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? What horror movie scene has always lingered with you? Personally, it's the psycho shower scene for me. That will f you right up when you watch that at 5 years old. 4. Accidentally, that was. Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 9. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 5 scary demons that should be forgotten about. Blankface91 said, here are the top 5 most horrifying demons in great detail and their lore that everyone should forget about. They said to their audience of almost 1 million people. That's the reoccurring comment I got in this video, was that I told you all to forget about these demons, yet I went into the greatest detail about all of these demons, in turn reminding you that these demons exist. So you're welcome to 1 million of you who are subscribed to this channel. Brought Cookie said, I want to be a fly on the wall at one of your first date conversations. I bet you draw so much fascination from your date. I mean, you draw terror as well, but whatever. Oh yeah, I think this is a response to the fact that I said I saw rings on a date. But how many viewers were around when I told you guys I watched Eraserhead on a date? Again, both of those did not work out. I'm with neither of those people anymore, and I blame it on both those movies. Don't watch Eraserhead on a date, it really kills the mood. No one gets excited. Crispy Queen said, how long has it been since I visited this channel? I thought Lucy went to another channel. All praise the Pale Princess. I never left the channel. I do exist on another channel there, so if you want to check it out, head over to Top 10 Central Dark. That's where I also exist. I exist in many places, but mostly inside your head. You're welcome. Kung Fu said, I just want to watch scary horror movies with Lucy and have her not see me scream like a wussy during them. I don't want to watch movies with you. Just kidding. I will watch a movie with you, but just don't look at me because I'll turn you to stone, and if you scream, you die. Jason Padilla said, I think I could throw hands with Agaris. He's just an even creepier, magically powered English teacher. I mean, he's a teacher, just not one that you would really want to teach you anything. Much of anything. Anything at all. It'd be cool to learn languages, but not the one that he's teaching. That, no thank you. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you later. These are the top 5 worst horror movie death scenes, part 8. Cut that line. Don't ad-lib, Lucy. What are you doing? Aren't actually alive anymore. They are covered in... What? Just read your script. Just read what you wrote, you know? Just read it. I'm gonna have a breakdown.